Shalom, shalom. This is just a little quick hit. But before I begin, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushua, Ba'asham, Wakak Wadash, the monster of the apostles, the monster of the elders, the great millstone rule well, touch his truth. Much respect to you brothers out there, to preach his word in truth and sincerity. Throughout the four corners of earth, Tabernacle David, Hopeful Elect, and the Speckled Bird, Shalom, Shalom. Like I said, just a little quick hit through the spirit, going into some points that we went over in camp, like especially the times that we into, man, and we about to win. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but with knowing that, we understand persecution is coming, and we have to prepare ourselves spiritually for these things to come. Now, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, make your call and election sure you're not out here playing, and you're not out here doubting, right? Yahweh Radazah, you are possibly of the elect, right? The elect is going to be doing what the elect is supposed to be doing, and that's doing the work. Now, for us that's within this truth, and a lot of you younger brothers that's coming into this truth, with knowing that persecution is coming, but also we're going to win as well, you got to be mindful in the time in which we in. This ain't the time to be telling everybody that you an Israelite, man. This is not the time to be telling Jake over and over that they an Israelite, man. Trying to beat it into their head, beat it into them senseless. Hey, brother, you know you an Israelite. Hey, brother, you know a lot of us, when we came into this truth, we had that zeal, that young zeal on us, and we just wanted to tell everybody. But understanding the times that we are into, man, hey, just leave Jake alone. Jake is wicked as hell. As brothers have said, man, we see why, especially when you get older and you grow up more and more within this truth, you see why the Lord had to flood the earth the first time. And the next time it's going to be by fire, man. The next time it's going to be by fire. And we see why Jake is wicked. These Edomites, these other nations that's over us, especially you Edomites, you wicked as hell, man. That lake of fire, which is going to be by ICBM missiles, is going to come unto Babylon the Great, right? And our Holy Land. This place is about to be cleansed, man. And all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua for that. If you ain't looking forward to that, you're done. You're through. Like I said, this is supposed to be a little quick hit. I'm going to go ahead and get some scriptures. And Yahweh desires an edifying lesson, man. This is Luke 9 and verse 57. And when you get into this chapter, right, especially, you can, when you're out there on the highways and byways, Jake always has an excuse of why they can't come into this truth, you know what I'm saying? Which, when we're on the highways and byways, we're searching for the elect anyways. I want to put that out first and foremost. It's for the elect. We not out here, like these other camps. Hey, man, it's like, hey, we're not out here doing that, man. If you want to receive this truth, the spirit of the Lord, hey, as the scriptures say, a man's goings of the Lord, you're going to be drawn into this truth, right? So what we read about is about Jake having excuses, right? Jake always has excuses, man. And this is Luke 9 and verse 57. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Lord, I will follow thee whatsoever thou goest. And Yahweh said unto him, foxes have holes and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head, right? When you, I'm equate this, when you come into this truth, right? And as you get older and older, as you grow more within this truth, which you should understand this when you first coming into this anyways, regardless, you got to understand when you read the scriptures that some of us is going to be pilgrims upon the earth. Hey, I will say a lot of us is going to be pilgrims upon the earth, man, when the MOTB is implemented. Jacob's trouble, however the Lord set it up, right? When the MOTB is out there, we're going to be outcasts. Matter of fact, they're making laws. They're passing on these laws. If you speaking against Kirk, if you speaking against Trump, if you speaking against MAGA, if you speaking against the Jays, right? You're deemed as a terrorist. So we're going to be ostracized. And so, hey, this is a test. Hey, Son of Man didn't have a place to lay his head. You sure you want to follow me? Jake will hear that. Oh man, you know, it ain't worth it, man. Man, I like my bed at home, man. You know, so this is a test within itself, man. When you come into this truth, you got to count the cost. Jake will hear these things. I remember I was out there on the highways and byways a couple years ago, Slacky, and there was a certain Jake that came up to the camp, and I told him about, you know, hey, we don't eat the pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and he about blew a gasket, man. You see, Jake like that ain't gonna make it. You blowing it? What? You know, I told him, hey, we ain't in the new covenant. And if we was in the new covenant, you know, hey, you would know everything in which I'm telling you, from the least to the greatest, is going to understand and know what I'm already saying, man. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be out here on the highways and byways. I wouldn't even be teaching you. Like I said, you know, these Christians, they don't read the Bible. They don't have no understanding. They was just a couple days ago talking about the rapture, you know what I'm saying? Which that's not biblical in the sense of how they teach it. Now, is people going to get beamed up? Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. But that's the coming of the kingdom of heaven, right? As in, we're going to get the Yahweh we of those men. We're going to get those new bodies. Hey, we're going to be fresh and so clean. And you other nations are going to be under subjection under us, right? So, yeah, a rapture in that sense. But before that, you have to go through Jacob's trouble. You Christians are preaching that you ain't got to go through nothing. You know, like I just read in Luke 9 in verse 57 on down, you know, verse 58. You know, hey, the Son of Man didn't have a place to lay his head. You got to count the cost when you come into this truth. Right? The demons are going to come and attack you. Things are going to happen, you know. We had a little talk after camp with the brothers, you know. They was talking about how the demons, you know, I'm just put it simple how, you know, just stuff starts happening, right? Stuff just starts happening. I'm going to put it in a simple term as that, you know, and that's part of the course. That's part of the condition of this walk, man. But anyways, get to it. And he said unto another, follow me. And he said, Lord, suffer me first to go bury my father. Yahushua said unto him, let the dead bury the dead, but go down and preach the kingdom of power. You see, Jake always has an excuse. Man, I got to do this. You got to do that. Cool. Go. Hey, that's your lot, man. Ain't no sense, you know, when Jake comes up with those excuses, ain't no sense to try to beat it over their head to try to get it and for them to understand that they're Israelites. You know, you got this dude channel, Osei Duke Jackson, which I was watching this morning, and he's one of them Pan-African niggas, you know, niggas that's preaching, you know, hey, we Africans, we black. You know, just bugged out. But, you know, a broken clock is right at least twice a day, as they say in the world. But anyways, to get to it, you know, the particular segment he was getting into was about Candace Owens, right? And I'm like, because Candace Owens is speaking against the Jays, right? That's pretty much how she lost her job, if I'm not mistaken, speaking against the Jays. I'm like, Jake is seeing all this. Jake cannot connect the dots, right? You're still preaching, hey, we Africans, but you can't tell who runs the world. They stole your identity, right? They stole your identity. So Candace Owens, within that, you know, aspect, she's right. You know, hey, these people is wicked. What they doing is wicked, right? And Jake can't see that they're not the people of the Lord, man. You still, you know. Anyways, getting back to the lesson, man. Like I said, Jake comes with all these excuses. It ain't the time to be beaten over their heads. Hey, you an Israelite, man. You got to be circumspect and understand the times in which we in, man. Let's see, this is verse 61. And another also said, Lord, I will follow thee, but let me first go and bid them farewell, which are in the home of my house. And Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hands to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom. Now, often we use that verse for, brothers that were coming to this truth and they be out there looking back, right? They be out here looking back, putting their cares and affairs in this world. And next thing you know, you out of here, man, right? You stop preaching the word. You stop going out there on the highways and byways. You stop doing your lessons and you out of here. But in this sense, right, I'm using this as, Jake want to go say bye to his family members and friends first, right? Which he knows he's actually bullshitting. He's not going to come back. He's just saying that just to be saying it, man. A lot of Jakes in general be doing that shit. Yeah, brother, I'm gonna come. Yeah, what you saying is right. And through the spirit, this brother ain't coming back. This brother ain't coming. He ain't fully conformed unto this truth. He knows the little things. He can see that what we saying is right, but he ain't coming into this thing, man. He playing around. So that's pretty much how Jake is within this chapter. Hey, you playing around, Jake, right? And since you out here playing, Jeremiah 7 and verse 16, therefore pray not thou for this people, neither lift up a cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear thee, right? The Lord ain't hearing you. All right, to you Christians, the Lord didn't say pray for everybody, man. You're supposed to pray for your brother, and that's the Israelites, right? You pray for your brother that's within this walk, within this truth. They don't want to hear that, man. Esau, Edom gave you that bullshit. It's for everybody. No, the Bible is a letter to the Israelites, right? And since that, matter of fact, we're going to go to Jeremiah 15 and verse 1. Then said the Lord Yahweh shall unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind cannot be towards this people. Cast them out of my sight and let them go forth. Right? Moses and Samuel, holy prophets, man. Right? Great men of the Lord. But the two-thirds, all right? The 2/3, man. Niggers of the absolute niggerdom, man. The Lord's like, man, get these niggas out of here, man. And when you read the scriptures, you got to understand, man, hey, Jake, this truth is only for the elect, man. Jake is wicked as hell, man. Jake gotta go. Don't be beating over their heads. You an Israelite, man. You jeopardizing your own life and your freedom, man. If there was a chance for you, to not have to endorse, of course, the man's goings of the Lord. I'm just using it as an example. If there was a chance for you not to endure such, torment or whatever, and all you had to do was be wise and not tell this certain Jake, you know what I'm saying? Hey, do that. Matter of fact, since I said that, I'm going to get this scripture. Since I said that, just to substantiate what I'm saying right here, right? Pretty much the premise of this lesson, Matthew 7 verse 6, give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and render you. You see? This wisdom and knowledge is more precious than fine gold, silver, these pearls of the world. And you just out here willy-nilly giving it out to everybody. Hey, you an Israelite. Let the elect come and get it. The elect The hopeful elect is going to come and get this, man. Don't be out here trying to get that vainglory, being over righteous, right? It ain't the time for that, man. Right? You got to be wise. You got to be matter of fact, Ephesians 5 and verse 15. Let's get that. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Check this. Redeeming the times, because the days are evil. The days are evil in which we're coming into. These are not days in which you should be playing around, Jake. You should not be out here playing around, Jake. The days are evil. Do not be giving out your pearls unto the swine. They are not going to take this thing serious. The scriptures say clearly, they're going to learn the hard way that a prophet shall be among them, was among them, right? Just roughly paraphrasing. And we about to get that respect, man. We about to get that respect. They about to find out the hard way that what we've been saying is right. You Edomites as well. What we've been saying is right. We are the people of the Lord, and you are going into slavery. You're going into captivity. Enjoy your kingdom while you can. Instead of just, looking at Jake as the problem, Jake as the issue, because Jake is out here chilling. Yeah, you got wicked Jake's among our people, of course, always. But, at the end of the day, some of them, I'll say a bulk of them, is the creation of you. That's of your doing if you do your research. But Jake out here chilling. But you're telling Jake, you're telling the people that Jake is a face of terrorism. And so you gearing up with your sword, and hey, the devil's going to do whatever the devil's going to do. But hey, us that's within this walk, within this truth, Yahweh desire, we of those men, we going to be taken care of, man. Anyways, getting back to it. The days are evil, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. Understand what the will of the Lord is, man. We just read part of the will of the Lord, man. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, man. Right? Be not drunken with wine within excess, but be filled with the Spirit. It doesn't mean that you can't take a sip of wine, right? This is talking about being drunk in the spirit of the world, right? Because when you're drunk in the spirit of the world, a lot of these people see these things going on, but they don't want to, it's that cognitive dissonance, however you say that. I always get tongue-tied saying that, so Salakia. But, they don't want to acknowledge the times in which we're in. They see it, but they don't want to acknowledge, But the times is coming where they're actually going to acknowledge what the times in which we live in, man. Matter of fact, Ecclesiastes 3:1, to everything there is a season, and to time, to every purpose under the heaven, right? And you go on down. It's a time to do this, a time to do that, right? Time of war, time of peace, right? This is the time, hey, Jacob's trouble is coming, man. The famine of the word is coming. Jake got to get this thing now. And you have to realize we're in a time where you most definitely don't be out here on the Shaddai at the workplace telling Jake that they're Israelites, man. You're jeopardizing your money. Right? Money's a defense. You're jeopardizing your way of life to feed your family. Over here trying to be overwise. Our brother, my brother within my camp, man, he got a story for that, for a dude that he knew before he, came up with me, you know what I'm saying? Out there being over righteous on the workplace, wearing his fringes and all that stuff. Hey, that's another thing with you niggas with fringes, man. You did a whole bunch of wickedness in fringes, man. The fringes ain't gonna save you, right? That's another lesson for another day, man. All right. All right. Let's see. Let me get some more. Matter of fact, it's a Sirach 20 and verse 20. A wise sentence shall be rejected when it cometh out of the fool's mouth, for he will not speak in due season. Right. It's like, you know, Jake out there just, you know, because that's the thing that comes up with these niggas, man. You know, these hood prophets, man. Right? They see you at the camp and they'll come up to the camp. They might acknowledge some of the things and what you're saying is right, but, you know, a lot of things that's coming out their mouth is foolish, man. Right? They think that what they saying is wise. Nah, man, you you ain't saying nothing, man. You know, matter of fact, Sirach 32 and verse 8. Let's get that. Right? And it reads, let thy speech be short, comprehend much in few words. Be as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue. You got to understand when to speak, when to hold it. You know, even if you, even the scripture that you brought out or you have, or the wisdom that you have holding is fire, man. It's going to light up the place, man. There's a time and a place you got to be wise in which to bring it out, right? A nigga, a hood prophet, you know, you over there trying to converse with these hood prophets, man. Jakes in the world, they going to have you out here pulling your hair, man, because they just going to be saying whatever comes upon their mind. They going to be, you know, it's going to be an unnecessary back and forth, man. So verse 9, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. And with the ancient men are in the place, use not many words, you know. Jake don't even realize that the men that he's among great men. That these men, they are the prophets of the ancient world. And Jake is trying to make himself equal with them. You know, you know what I'm saying? Come up to the camp, disrupting the camp, saying all types of hoopla, man. Let Jake alone, man. Matter of fact, Edomites too. They be seeing a whole bunch of hoopla, man. Whole bunch of hoopla, a whole bunch of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make themselves equal as you. You know, or I'll put an example. Say you come across the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. The best thing you can do is just listen, be quiet. And that's the best thing that you can do. Hey, brother, I got this fire scripture, man. I gotta bring it. A lot of times, hey, just hush your mouth, man. Just hush your mouth. You know, if you want greatness, be humble. And with that, hush your mouth. And Jake in the world has not learned that. You know, that's something that you should learn when you come into this truth. I remember a brother had did a lesson on this particular Jake that was trying to be part of the camp or so, that were coming up to the camp. And the nigga wouldn't shut up. You know what I'm saying? This thing is for the elect, man. For the hopeful elect, man. And they're going to understand to shut up. They're going to understand to be humble. They're going to understand when to give out this word, right? And that's these lessons, these epistles, and that's going out there on the highways and byways, not going to your job, not, you know, your friends and family members. You know, you can use wisdom, man. You can even use wisdom at this time, man. Make them think you're not even in the truth no more. You know what I'm saying? You know, for those that's within this truth, you use wisdom on that, man. You know, you pray to the Lord on wisdom on that. Some of them, you just gonna have them think that you're not even in this anymore. You know, some of them, they gotta know and they gotta respect and what you're into. You know, there's also another dynamic on that, but you got to use wisdom on that. However your walk is with the Lord is, man. You know, every brother's situation is different. Some brothers can get away with, you know, letting their family members and friends thinking that they're not in the truth no more. Some brothers can have their family members and friends, hey, you know, I ain't with that shit. You know, however that dynamic is, you know, like I said, your walk is different. right? Each brother's walk is different. You got to use wisdom on that. Pray about that, right? Let me get some more scripture. I don't think I finished that. Yeah. So we going back to Jeremiah 15, right? So since Jake want to be wicked, Jake want to do his own thing, and especially as we get closer and closer to the end of this thing, you got to be wise and circumspect. And we're going to see why, and we're seeing why the Lord flooded the earth and why he's going to flood the earth with that nuclear fire this time. But so since Jake is too busy for this truth, Jake want to make all types of excuses. Check this. Jeremiah 15 verse 2, and it shall come to pass if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shah. It's not of my own words, since you don't want to take heed, since you want to play around, right? Such as for death to death, and such as are for sword to swords, and such as famine to famine, and such as captivity to captivity, and I will point over them 4 kinds, save the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shah. The sword to slay, the dogs to tear, the fowls of the heavens, and the beasts of the earth to devour and to destroy. So the Lord pronounced all this evil unto you. Captivity, hey, some of y'all going to be thrown into these FEMA camps, being tortured to death, right? The beast of the earth is going to tear you apart, right? Esau, Edom, the sword, going to tear you apart, right? Nuclear missiles, you going to eat that, right? Since you jakes want to play around with the Lord, hey, I got this to do. You know, making all types of excuses under the sun. Hey, cool, do that, right? It's another reason, right? Because you got to understand on how to maneuver through this world, right? As well. I'm going to get this in Proverbs 13 and verse 20 in the NLT. Walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get in trouble. When you walk with the wise, you're going to become wise. Right? Walk with like-minded people. Don't they say in the world, you got to get away from these, what I've heard in the world, you want to move up in the ladder in the world. Jake be talking about you want to get more money. You gotta get rid of your broke friends. You got to get rid of these all types of distractions. Well, the scriptures say, hey, as I just read, you walk with the wise, you're going to be wise. You walk with fools, you're going to be a fool. Right, because their type of mindset is going to start to, pretty much creep on to you, man. Right, and you gotta, like the brother said, you gotta learn a cutoff time, man. Even when you're chilling with your family members and friends, you gotta learn a cutoff time. Hey, I gotta go, man. Matter of fact, I'll give you like a quick example. Right, I was over at my people's house. And I'm cool with I don't drink much. But, had the wine. It was cool. We was having the wine, had a nice talk. Hey, we was all, conversing. We haven't seen each other, Hey, it was all good. But then you had a certain family member come in. He over there smoking the cigar. And the other family member over here, and he's smoking a cigar. And he was like, hey, man. See this right here? You see with a cigar, is how Jake be. You see with a cigar, you're not really smoking. You're looking very sophisticated. I was like, bruh. It was like, all right, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I don't deal with that. It was all cool when we had the drinks, we was conversing. But now y'all talking about, hey, we got to smoke now. Hey, we got these cigars. I'm like, hey, I'm out. And that's just an example, man. Jake be with that bullshit. Jake knows what you a part of, but he'll still try to entice you to do some things. You know what I'm saying? And if I would have stayed there, it's like, and as long as I ain't smoking, that type of spirit can jump on you. Like, hey, it's all cool to smoke. You got to learn a cutoff time when you're within this walk, man. Right? And with knowing that as well, once again, some of your family members and friends, they're not going to respect that you're within this truth. They're going to try to entice you to do types of wickedness, man. Like me a couple weeks ago with the cigar, man. Old boy trying trying to have you smoking, man. I'm like, bro, we don't mess with that, man. We don't mess with that. You know I don't mess with that. You know, I like to stay in shape. I like to, like to be healthy. I don't like my lungs all destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I'm gonna end it with this, man. I know I've said it was supposed to be a quick one, but everything's through the Spirit. This is Proverbs 26 and verse 4. Slack Proverbs 26 and verse 7. The legs of the lame are not equal, so is the parable in the mouth of fools. You see? The fool try to break down this word. The fool try to give you wisdom. Don't take heed unto it, man. Just like a paraplegic ain't equal to a Usain Bolt, man. It's like these niggas out here, man, just trying to, be hood prophets. You know what I'm saying? Trying to give you wisdom. Don't take heed to their wisdom, man. They ain't got it. And you got to understand, if they coming with that, you got to understand who and when to give the truth to. And right now, this ain't the time, Jake. This ain't the time to be telling everybody. They gonna trample over it, man. But yeah, Yahweh desires an edifying lesson. Shalom, shalom, shalom.